Happy Monday, my Ecomm Learners! Welcome to another learning journey with Teacher Claire. If it's your first time here today, I would certainly be glad to have you with me as I talk about the two major forms of literature, which are prose and poetry. So what are you waiting for? Click the subscribe button, like and share this video to anyone you know would benefit from it. And now to start with, let me define what literature is. Literature refers to written creative work, particularly those which have a high and enduring value. It is known for its form in which the message is presented or communicated and its content. In terms of forms, prose and poetry are the two major forms of literature which we will differentiate and characterize each today. Basically, prose is a written work which contains sentences and paragraphs and does not have any metrical structure. As against, poetry is a genre of literature which is based on a particular form that creates a rhyme. Therefore, the basic difference between prose and poetry is that we have sentences and paragraphs in prose, whereas lines and stanzas can be found in a poetry. Further, there is irregular writing in prose, but there is a unique style of writing in poetry. To know more, here's a comparison chart between prose and poetry. And those are the differences between prose and poetry. And to further give you ideas about prose, prose is an ordinary writing style in literature, which encompasses characters, plot, mood, theme, the point of view, setting, and many more, making it a distinctive form of language. It is known using grammatical sentences, which forms a paragraph. It may also include dialogues and is sometimes supported by images but does not have a metrical structure. Prose can be fictional or non-fictional. It can also be heroic, alliterative, village, polyphonic, biography, autobiography, memoir, essay, short stories, fairy tales, article, novel, blog, and so forth use prose for creative writing, meaning to say those are examples of prose. Meanwhile, When we talk about poetry, it is something that arouses a complete imaginative feeling. By choosing appropriate language and selective words and arranging them in a manner that creates a proper pattern. Rhyme, which can be two or more words having identical ending sounds, and rhythm, which means cadence of the poem. Poetry uses an artistic way to communicate something special. Example, a musical intonation of stressed, long-sounding, and unstressed, short-sounding syllables to express or describe emotions, moments, ideas, experiences, feelings, and thoughts of the poet to the audience. The structural components of poetry include lines, couplet, strophe, stanza, and many more. Poetry is in the form of verses, which constitutes stanzas that follows a meter. The number of verses in a stanza depends upon the type of poem. Now let's talk about the key differences between prose and poetry. The difference between prose and poetry can be drawn clearly on the following grounds. 1. Prose refers to a form of literature having ordinary language and sentence structure, while poetry is that form of literature which is aesthetic by nature, meaning to say it has a sound, cadence, rhyme, meter that adds to its meaning. Second, the language of prose is quite direct or straightforward. On the other hand, in poetry, we use an expressive or creative language, which includes comparisons, rhyme, and rhythm that give it a unique cadence and feel. Third, while the prose is pragmatic or realistic, poetry is figurative. And those are the differences between prose and poetry. I hope you learned well from this discussion. That's it for today. I'll be with you again next time, my Ecomm Learners. Always remember that happiness is a choice, so always choose to have a happy heart. God bless us all.